Welcome to the VarsityKansas.com Big Show. I am Joanna Chadwick of the Wichita Eagle and VarsityKansas.com. We are taping here at KSN, and I just want to say I'm glad to be back on the Big Show. It's been nearly a month since I last taped, and I tell you that holiday break was nice, though. I hope you all enjoyed it. All right, my guest today is East boys basketball coach Joe Jackson. Thanks for being here, Coach.
Absolutely, Joanna. Thanks for having me.
Well, let's talk about this team. They're unbeaten, 7-0. You're atop the City League by a game over both Heights and Southeast. What do you feel like you guys are doing well right now?
You know, one of the big things that I really felt our guys have been doing an excellent job of this year is we're really playing together. You know, guys have bought into kind of that team atmosphere, and we've got really good team chemistry right now. We've been defending the basketball a lot better than we did a year ago right now. I think so defensively we've stepped our game up, and with the exception of the Heights game, I think we've out-rebounded every opponent so far. So those are, you know, between team chemistry, defense, and rebounding, those are three things that we've really tried to step our level up a little bit with. So.
Well, let's start talking about some of these individual players. The team is stacked with talent. Let's talk about Samaje Jones. He's now back after missing the first semester of games. You know, and this is a kid who, when I picked Southeast to win the City League, it was simply because Samaje would not be there for those first games. Mm-hmm. And because of that, I thought, okay, maybe you guys might stumble. You guys did not stumble. Talk about then what he adds to your team.
Well, you know, Samaje as a junior for us is a dynamic scorer. He led the team in scoring as a sophomore last year, and just really, you know, adds another level to our offensive, you know, capabilities. You know, he's been back one game so far with us, and he came out and did an excellent job of, you know, coming in the game. He distributed the ball well. He didn't look to do too much on his own, and Samaje is another kid that has really kind of bought into team and what we've been trying to do. But Samaje plays with such great pace to his game. I mean, he's difficult to guard. Our guys hate having to match up with him in practice. Anytime we're working on one-on-one, defensive drills, he's a tough matchup for a lot of people.
Well, that's great. Well, and he's fun to watch, I tell you. Let's talk about Tyus Martin. This is a kid we didn't get to see much of last year because of his ACL injury, and I have really enjoyed watching him. First of all, when we had that skills day, the VarsityKansas.com skills day, we had 150 kids there, more than 100 kids for basketball. And Tyus, of course, blew the crowd away with his dunks.
Absolutely. You know, Tyus is a great kid, and he has worked unbelievably hard to get his knee rehabbed and to where he's healthy again. And I was setting up at the Wichita State Elite Camp when he tore his ACL, and it happened about 10 feet away from where I was sitting. And, I mean, your heart just drops when you see your kid go down like that. But Tyus's work ethic has been second to none. He's really came back in and battled hard, and you know, he's more athletic now after an ACL injury than what he was before he injured it. And he's just really, you know, really worked hard to get himself back. His defense is better. The last two games, he's really stepped his level up. I think it took him a couple of games to kind of get back into the swing of things after missing an entire season, basically. But the last two ball games versus Derby and against West, he's really stepped his level up, and he's playing basketball at a very high level right now.
You know, and you've got some very versatile players. They're all so versatile. But Zach Jackson, Xavier Kelly, and Trayvon McGarity, those are three guys who are so fun to watch. Xavier Kelly, who, of course, is only a sophomore, and he's a big kid. Yeah. Zach, I can't believe the progress of Zach Jackson with just him physically. He's stronger. And Trayvon McGarity, he's just such a consistent force inside. Oh,
absolutely. You know, between the three of those guys, you know, Trayvon and Xavier are both football players as well, and so both of those guys bring a tremendous amount of toughness to the team. And Trayvon's always been in the mix of being one of our leading rebounders, along with Xavier and Zach have always been right there in the mix of that as well. Xavier is a tremendous talent and a very, very humble young man, very polite. This is a kid that really wants to be coached. He wants to be pushed. He comes to practice every day, ready to get after it. He's got a smile on his face, you know, and he's ready just to get down and get after it. So we're looking for huge things from Xavier in the future. You know, Zach, you know, his play speaks for himself. A lot of people think Zach's a quiet kid, and he's got a few people fooled with that. But Zach's play speaks for itself. The other night he had 18 points and 13 rebounds playing the point guard position. So as a point to have 13 rebounds, that's speaking for Zach's level of play right now. And Zach's one of the top defenders around, in the entire city, and I'd put him right up there in the state. I mean, he can flat lock down on defense, and he's done a great job of kind of running the team for us a little bit.
Well,
and again, Trayvon just brings such toughness, such rebounding. Trayvon's been our leading scorer in a couple of games as well. So there's been different things that Trayvon has done for us where he's really stepped his game up.
Well, the depth of talent here, I mean, there's just no denying it. Now, you do have a tough game here coming up on Friday. You've got Southeast. And I want to talk about this rivalry because it's like a lot of times you see rivalries between two schools. But this is a rivalry that is three schools. And I think it's pretty equal, too. You've got Heights and East, East and Southeast, South and Heights. I mean, it's awesome. It's those three schools. And how much do you love this rivalry?
Well, it's a lot of fun, Joanna. And first thing first, we're not trying to overlook South at all on Tuesday. So we've been preparing for South. We had our bye on Friday night, so we went out and scouted Heights and South. And South's no slouch. They played Heights to a really tight ball game the other night. So first and foremost, we're getting ready for that. But the rivalry absolutely is a lot of fun. We split with Heights last year. We ended up facing off with Southeast 4 times last year, and they handed it to us the first time we played them. So our guys really kind of came together, and the rivalry is just a whole lot of fun. Between 3 schools to really get after each other, and win, lose, or draw. In those games, kids are really stepping their level up. I mean, it's for whatever reason, it's a little bit more intense. It's a little bit, more action-packed, and it just seems like the level of play really rises when those games are going on.
Well, and we finally see it back to kind of where it was. I mean, because these 3 have been so good for quite some time, but Southeast has kind of struggled over the past few years. And 2008-09 was the last time that I would say that they were a real contender for the City League title. And so now you have all 3 of you, each Southeast and Heights with 1 loss apiece, and then you guys unbeaten. I'm betting on an incredible atmosphere.
That's one of the things Coach Auer and I had talked about after we faced off against Heights early in the season was, I mean, this race is wide open, and it's going to be an exciting stretch of basketball here through the second half of the season. So we're coming into practice every single day trying to get better, and I know that's every school's goal, not just us and Heights and Southeast, but everybody's trying to get better every day, and I think it's going to be a whole lot of fun here in the second half of the season.
Well, let's talk a little bit about, when we look at the City League, I think this year the City League is stronger, deeper than what we've seen in past years. And so we got to see the City League versus the ABCTL Challenge, which the City League won on the boys' side. The ABCTL edged it on the girls' side 5-4, but the boys won 7-2. Talk a little bit just about that challenge and how fun that was to play at Koch Arena with all those games going on.
Anytime you can expose, your student athletes to an environment like that, to be able to play on on the floor at Wichita State at Koch Arena, and to kind of let your guys know this is a little glimpse of what it would be like to play in the state tournament here. We've got state back at Koch Arena again this year, and the guys really get fired up to play on Wichita State's floor, and it just magnifies things that much more with the season Wichita State's having right now. So the guys are excited. We get to play on Wichita State's floor tonight. So our guys were definitely fired up to play out there. And we knew Derby was going to bring a really solid team to the table against us that night, and we just really tried to get ourselves ready to go and enjoy the environment. Yeah,
hearing the buzz as those WSU men's players, some of them that would kind of walk through after a practice or whatever, you could just hear the people talking about it. That was a lot of fun. Well, Coach, thanks so much for being here. I appreciate it, and good luck to you this week.
Thank you very much, Joanna. We appreciate it.
All right, well, let's talk a little bit about this upcoming week, and, of course, South at East. That's a tough game. We're looking at a South team that went above 500 for the first time in years. It's a program that has just struggled, and they are doing very well right now. They're sitting there at a program that has struggled to win, and yet here they are gaining confidence, and they're getting better. So that's always good to see. Looking forward to the rivalry, though, on Friday night with East and Southeast. But on Tuesday night, we do have Salina Central out at, they are playing Mays in Salina Central. That's a heck of a girls' game. I wish that I could head up to Salina Central to see that. But Mays, of course, their only loss was to South High, which came back to win out at Coke Arena in that AVCTL Challenge with the City League. And Salina Central is a team with Shaylin Martin, and you've got Emily Wood, too. So it's going to be a great matchup of those Mays girls with Kieran Swenson, Daly Handy, Brianna Johnson. I'm really looking forward to see how that one turns out. May South and Eisenhower play on Tuesday night as well. That's a really good matchup there. I'm curious to see what's going to happen. I want to see Eisenhower again, and I think it's a good matchup, both boys and girls there. And also, Andale's playing Collegiate on Tuesday night. This is a great boys game. It's one that I had a little bit more hype for until Collegiate went on a 2-game losing streak, something I did not expect to see. So it'll be curious as to how they can come back and play Andale. And, you know, how much does this prepare? You know, we talk a lot about the City League and how it prepares you for state. And I think right now Collegiate is being prepared for state. You know, they're a 3A school playing a 4A schedule. It will be interesting to see how that does pan out. So it's a good week for sports. I do want to say that if anyone were to ever survey me about the City League AVCTL Basketball Challenge, I say it's awesome. What they did this year, how they ran it, it was spectacular. I did not see glitches. I saw great games. They did a wonderful job matching up games. There were a couple blowouts, but you know what? It was good to see different sorts of teams playing and to see them kind of come out of that box and not feel like we only need to play South versus Arc City boys and girls, that we can mix that up a bit. So that was really cool to see. I also want to say thank you to all the City League coaches and athletes who came out to help at the VarsityKansas.com Skills Day. It was December 28th. We had nearly 150 kids come out for that. It was free. They each got a T-shirt that was donated. We had great sponsors, and these coaches put out 3 hours of their time. We had high school athletes. We had college athletes coming and helping out, and it was a great experience for those kids, many of whom may not otherwise get that opportunity to have such coaching. So that was pretty awesome. Make sure to join me this week for my live chat at VarsityKansas.com. Follow me on Twitter at Joanna Chadwick. And, of course, you can always contact me via email, jchadwick@wichitaeagle.com. Feel free to contact me at any time with story ideas. I'd love to hear them. Thank you so much for watching the VarsityKansas.com Big Show. It's good to be back, and we'll see you.